Isn't it good to feel? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that what it is to be a human being? Is to feel, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? What kind of people don't feel? Psychopaths don't feel. You don't want to be one of them. Stay away from them. The feeling is important. Feeling is what connects you to other human beings. Your ability to feel. That's the essence of a relationship, isn't it? Whether it's a work relationship or an intimate relationship, it's a collective feeling, isn't it? It's a feeling. And that's what makes life important. And if we're disconnected from our feelings, we're disconnected from life. We're disconnected from our humanity. How can you feel love if you can't feel loss? Because love and loss are flip sides of the same coin. You can't have love without loss. Even though it's a love that lasts 180 years, a loss will come at some point. That you can't have love without loss. You can't have joy without fear. You can't have peace without anger. They exist in relation to each other. And this is the spectrum of our human emotion. This is what it is to be fully alive, to be fully human, is to feel deeply. It's our compassion. So we're not afraid of our feelings with mindfulness. We embrace our feelings with mindfulness. But with that embracing of our feelings and our owning of our feelings, that allows us to manage ourselves, to manage our emotions, and to take effective control of ourselves, to manage ourselves consciously in the world. You're going to have to manage your feelings. Best I show you how to do it. I want to teach you a little mindfulness exercise now that is called sitting with suffering. Sounds great, doesn't it? It's a very important practice, and it's how we manage our emotions mindfully. Now, for this little experiment, I want you to, just for 1 minute, I want you to break all of the rules, okay? Just for 1 minute. I don't want you ever do this again, all right? This is just for experiential purposes. It's going against everything I've taught you. But I'd like you, just for this purpose, just for 1 minute, to think about something that is going to trigger this chemical body of unresolved past pain. Now, it doesn't have to be the worst thing that's ever happened in your life. It doesn't have to be something awful. It could be something that's irritated you lately, or that row you had yesterday, or whatever. But just something that's going to, maybe even just lightly, bring up this unresolved chemical residual pain in the body. So off you go, starting from now. That'll do. That's enough. Oh dear. All right, come back to now. Come back. Come here with me. Here and now. Stay with me. Anchor to the breath. Here into the moment. Because fortunately, that's not real. That's just in your head. This is real. Here and now is real. Stay with me. Come back. Stay here now. The first thing I want to point your attention towards is how quickly that happened. Do you see how quickly that emotion came up? That was actually less than a minute. I couldn't bear the pain. I didn't let you go a minute. But how quickly those powerful emotions come up. That's how powerful that thinking is, which is why you're never going to think your way out of a feeling. Anyway, now we've triggered that. Let's use it. So bring your attention to the body. I've been triggered. There we go. Here and now. That past pain's been triggered in you. Is that good? Is it bad? Well, that depends on what you do with it. If you now start acting out from that, if that gets into your head, and believe me, it wants to, doesn't it? Can you see how it's trying desperately to get back into your mind? So come back. Very difficult to be mindful when this has been triggered because it wants to take over your mind. So stay with me, stay here and now. Now this is a neat little trick. Stay here. What I want you to do now is I want you to find in your body, as best you can, if you can, the physical feeling. Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your throat? A little bit more general sensations, a tightness in the body. And I want you to see if you can find in the body the emotional response to those thoughts that's been triggered there. See if you can find it in the body, that chemical, that past pain in the body. Stay with me. Good, where you found it? Mine's here in the chest. So stay here with me. Find it in the body. Maybe elsewhere, stomach, but wherever, it doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is I want you to hold your attention on the feeling. Now this is the opposite to what you normally do. Normally try and get away from it. I want you to feel the feeling fully. Just gently breathe into the feeling maybe. Now this is a neat little trick because what you're doing is you're using your breath and the feeling to bring you into the present moment. Now, this feeling to grow needs the electrical impulses of your thoughts. Now you're here and now, and if we were to put a CAT scan on your head, there we go. Whoa, whoa. It's not being fed by the thinking. We're opening up other aspects of the brain. You're breaking that cycle. Do you see? Do you see how you're breaking it? By creating that space between your thoughts and the feelings. And without the thoughts to drive that feeling, it can't grow. Now, when you first put your attention on it, it can become a little bit more uncomfortable. Let's just sit with this feeling for a bit. Gently, gently, gently breathe into the feeling. Here and now. Now, whose feeling is it? It's yours, isn't it? Here's what I want you to do. Instead of trying to push it away, I want you to welcome it back. Oh, I love the feeling. It's part of you. And just let me allow it to be here with you. Stay here. Remember we did that little energy meditation last week. If you can feel the energy in your body while you do this, it will help. If not, it doesn't matter. So you're using your breath and the feeling as the focus to keep you in the here and now. Can you see what's happening? Can you see how the quiet is appearing in your mind? There's nothing to feed that feeling. And although when you first put your attention on it, it might feel more painful to start with, it won't get any bigger than that. Just breathe into the feeling. Stay with me, stay with me. It's your feeling. I'm pushing it away. Thich Nhat Hanh, my favourite mindfulness teacher, he talks about holding this feeling like a baby. And that's a beautiful way of expressing it with a real love, real care. You're embracing it. You're not pushing it away. Welcoming it home. Stay with me. Stay here. Stay with the feeling. Stay with the feeling. Sometimes when you do this, there's some tears. It's okay. Squirting out your eyes is perfectly acceptable. But you stay out of your head. Stay in the here and now. Stay in the body. Because any thinking you do now will be adding to your suffering and improving the chances of it taking you over and causing you to act out and project it. So go for a walk. Have your little cry. Breathe into the feeling. Stay with me. Stay here. Stay here. So we're relaxing. You're not pushing it away. It's your feeling. It's beautiful that you feel. It means you're a proper, fully functioning human being. You're not a psychopath. Let's celebrate that. Stay with me. Stay here. What's happening? What's happening to the feeling? Is it dissolving? Is it still there? It's okay if it is. Just resting here, accepting, allowing this moment, allowing the feeling to be here. There's another aspect of surrender there. We're not pushing the feeling away. We're not surrendering to the story in your head. You're not surrendering to what you think it's about. It's just all you have to do is surrender to the present moment. And the present moment might include some emotional discomfort in the body, and that's okay. Now, if we were to wire you up electronically and measure the electrical impulses your body is giving off now, you're not giving off anger, you're not giving off fear, you're not giving off a painful emotion into the field. You're giving off actually a very nice emotion of calm, of peace. That's what people would sense from you. That's what you're putting out into the field. And there's this feeling. As you sit here, you might notice the feeling starting to fade, dissolve. Might take 5 minutes, might take 5 hours, it might take 5 days. I don't know how long it will take until it passes, and I'd encourage you not to look to the future for an end to it. We're embracing the experience here in the present moment. And in doing that, because you're not feeding it with your thinking, that chemical residue of past pain in your body is healed and released, and you have healed some of your past suffering, and gradually you work your way through that, and you'll find that after a while it takes some practice, that when you are triggered, when this residue is triggered, that you get carried away less often and less far, and you cause less pain and suffering to yourself and other people. And with increasing regularity, you can sit with the pain like this, heal that within your body, and gradually it stops coming up because it's dealt with. Yes, you will continue to experience emotions that are present here in the moment, that are appropriate to now, and you process them in the moment in exactly the same way. But what you do, it does happen, and is that gradually you work your way through this unresolved past chemical pain in the body. And that's how you work with emotions mindfully. Let's run through that again. Step 1. Realise that your emotional pain has been triggered. Usually what will alert you to this is your thinking turns particularly nasty, particularly destructive. When you see your thinking doing that, it's a pretty good indication that your historic pain has been triggered. Step 2. Bring your full attention into the present moment. Anchor your attention on the breath or something to look at or feel or an activity, but hold your attention in the here and now. Stay out of your head. Stay present. Step 3. See if you can find the emotion in your body. Is it in your chest, your stomach, your throat, lower abdomen? Sometimes it's a more general sensation all over the body. But see if you can locate the emotion in the body. Step 4. Bring your full attention onto the feeling. Breathe into the feeling gently. Allow the feeling to be there. Now this is a neat little trick because you're actually using the feeling itself as the focus to keep you in the here and now. By bringing your attention into the body, into the here and now, the mind goes quiet. Without the thinking to drive the feeling, it can't grow, it can't take you over, it can't cause you or anybody else any suffering. Step 5. Just gently hold the feeling in your body without resistance. Allow it to be there. It's part of you, welcome it home. You might have to sit with the feeling, or you might go for a walk, or engage in some other activity to hold your attention in the present moment. Allow the feeling to be there without resistance. It's part of you, welcome it home. At some point, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, I don't know, but at some point that feeling will pass without incident. You haven't caused yourself or anybody else any suffering, and that chemical residue of past pain has been cleared and freed from your system. Now, that practice is called sitting with emotions, but you don't have to sit. And sometimes it can be a little bit too intense. And mindfulness has been, I think quite fairly criticised for this. That sometimes when you go very deeply into emotions, particularly when you start, it can be overwhelming. So bite-sized pieces, eh? And I think it can be really useful sometimes to go for a walk with your emotions rather than sitting with them, or I like to ride my bike with our emotions, but something where you could use your body, maybe even cleaning the house or ironing with your emotions. So you're using your body to anchor you in the here and now while you're gently breathing into the anger or frustration or hurt or whatever you're trying to deal with. That may be a better option, particularly to start with, but give it a go. I mean, you're not going to crack it every time. I haven't. My mind does still pull me off sometimes, and I do create suffering, and I'm not a saint. I'm no enlightened master. On occasions, I do act out from it. But what I can tell you is that once you start sitting with the emotions and working through them mindfully like this, very quickly the world around you changes, because instead of reacting and projecting that more pain and suffering and more problems and issues through your poor judgment, through your reactions, through your panic and through your irritation, more and more often you're able to consciously get yourself right and then consciously take the next step or choose the next source of action.